Building engineers and construction guys seeking for job in America. CNS Construction is hiring guys in construction field. So if you know you are looking for a job in those areas, please look out for this company. Check their contact and email. You can reach them and talk to them. Maybe this will be your luck to shine. Charlie, there's no harm in trying. This is your key. Ever.
Are you ready? Because they're coming for you. All of you drivers that are misclassifying your employment status as a Driver Inc. model, this will be your fair warning. Over the last 6 months, I've had 6 transportation officers reach out to me, and they're reaching out to me because of my videos, especially these videos here. Now, there are a few misconceptions about this Driver Inc. model, and I hate to read about it all the time. Number one biggest misconception is that the trucking company pushes drivers to work under a Driver Inc. model. Quite the opposite is true, and I hate reading about it. And every time I read about it, it always talks about trucking companies forcing drivers to work under this Driver Inc. model, but quite the opposite is true. It's always the driver. I'll actually do some recordings from our HR department on how many people are looking for this Driver Inc. model system, and if you don't pay them under this Driver Inc. system, then they just won't work for you.
So the company that I work for is called Corporate Traveler, and I love the company I work for, but I also think it really depends on the people you work with. And something I'd say beware of are the pyramid scheme travel agencies. These are the people that will slide into your DMs and be like, have you ever thought about becoming a travel agent? I know you love to travel. You literally make money off booking your own travels or booking for your friends and family. And then it's like, boom, you gotta pay this much a month. But don't worry, because you'll end up making it back. Pyramid scheme. Watch out for that. But there are so many opportunities when it comes to being a travel agent. You could be a corporate travel agent. You could work with celebrities or like TV shows. You could be a group's travel agent. Definitely look for legit jobs on LinkedIn. Let me know if you have any other questions.
Don't ever work for a company that brands themselves as a family environment. We are not a family. This is a business. Okay? These type of companies are toxic. They operate under what I like to call grandiosity. They promise you all these things, benefits, certain pay, and then once you make a mistake, you are crucified, you're devalued. They force you to go to these outside work events because we are family. And once you decide to operate in your own lane, then you turn into a scapegoat. These type of family environment companies are toxic workplace cults. Beware.
This is a message to all writers that work for script writing apps, mobile game apps, things like that. I just wanted to warn you about a company that has actually screwed me over and is refusing to pay me for 2 months' work that I've completed. It's quite complicated, and I've wrote quite a lengthy post on Facebook, so if you do want to read that, it's my pinned post. Just type in Tiffany Hepworth on Facebook and you can read the full story, but I want to keep it brief on here. Basically, the app name is Scripts and the company is IGG Gaming. Now, I don't know how far this actually goes up, whether it's the management of the Scripts app or if it's the actual higher management at IGG Gaming. But the strange thing is, I've worked for them many times over the last 5 years because I own an editing business and a writing business. And I've never had any problems with them all. And then I woke up this morning and found out that a new story I was writing for them, ghostwriting actually, has failed a test. This test that they told me about was only told to me last month, middle of January. Before that, it didn't say anything on the contract about there needing to be a test or anything like that. Nothing really seemed dodgy about them, because obviously, as I said, I've worked with them plenty of times in the past and I've never had problems with payments or anything like that. My editor's always been friendly, everything's always gone smoothly. My stories on the app's been popular, everything's been fine. But they waited until after I'd written the first 3 chapters of the story, which are 5k words each, so it's a total of 15,000 words. And not to mention I'd already edited them 5 times each. So altogether I've done 15 rounds of editing and wrote 15,000 words. They take about 5 to 6 days to get back to your emails, so the whole thing took 2 months. They basically asked me to do a really tight deadline in December 2024, basically 2 months ago, where they said, oh, can you do the first 3 chapters before Christmas? Me, being a workaholic, a bit of a workaholic, guilty as charged, I was like, yeah, that's fine, I've never missed a deadline. I actually put other paid projects with trusted clients off just to get this work done, because I missed working for Script at the time. It was a really good company. So I just did it anyway, I got on with it. I did everything my editor said, I edited it constantly, and then, like I said, in January they just dropped it on me that I suddenly needed it to go through a test before I could write from properly. So I thought, fine. My editor kept reassuring me that it'd definitely pass. I'd get paid no matter what, even for just a trial, so I thought, oh, this is fair enough. So I continued to trust them. There was nothing in the contract that were dodgy. It said I'd get paid. It didn't mention the test, which were weird, but they said it were part of the new policy. And then this morning I got an email saying it failed the test, even though they said to me, no one has ever failed the test. And I thought, okay. I was a bit confused because I was like, well, they said they'd keep letting me edit it over and over until it did pass the test. And I was like, well, okay, well, if you don't want me to do that, because I kept refusing for some weird reason, saying it wasn't good enough, it wouldn't pass it no matter what I did to it. So I was like, well, fair enough, these things happen. Do I at least still get paid for the trial? Because I've done 3 really long chapters for you and edited it 15 times, so I couldn't really afford to like miss out on 2 months of work, like money-wise and things. Obviously no one can in this day and age. And they were just like, oh, I'm sorry, but we've changed our policy within the last 2 weeks. We can't pay you now because we've got the right to terminate the contract whenever we want, and that's now before you start the official work. That was just a trial, so it doesn't count. So immediately I thought, well, I've been screwed over. Bearing in mind this editor had been my editor for like 3 or 4 years, and I trusted her, she was actually a friend. And I just felt absolutely heartbroken that I finally got back to the company I really trusted and liked. I was with them for 2 months and I've just been backstabbed really. And I'm getting a bit fed up of so many writers on different platforms and with different companies being screwed over. And, they know we haven't got a leg to stand on because they're the ones, making us sign the contracts and changing the policies. And they're all the way in China, I'm in the UK. So they know for a fact that there's no point in me trying to sue them internationally because it'll cost me thousands and thousands. And they actually owe me about £300 to £500, so there's literally no point in doing that. I've come to the conclusion I'm not going to get my money back, and that's fine. But I at least wanted to out the company and tell everyone what they really like and how badly they treat the writers, just so that no other writer had to go through what I have today. I mean, I'm a very unwell person anyway. I had to have an injection this morning, and all this happened while rushing around trying to get to the doctor's for the injection. Meant to be keeping my stress levels down. And it's just added to it really, so yeah. Honestly, I don't know what to think or feel right now. But the best thing I can do is just, get onto my social media, get everyone, talking about it, make everyone aware, and try and blacklist the company so they can't keep exploiting writers like this. Not to mention, a really important point, I had my suspicions when I first started working for them again, like recently, that they've been stealing other authors' work off websites. I'm not exactly sure which websites. I couldn't prove it at the time, so I kind of left it, thinking I was just being paranoid. But then every chapter they give me to ghostwrite had like, comment and share underneath and thank you for reading my story. So I've got a really strong feeling now that they've been stealing other people's work and getting us writers to rewrite it. So technically we'd be liable as well. So I think that's really dodgy, and they're just getting really greedy and they don't care, what about the consequences are, what they do. So honestly, I don't even know where to go with this next. But if you could like and share this, it literally helps so much because I just need some support right now from anyone and everyone really. Especially I want this to reach writers so they don't get into the same trap I did and fall for a supposedly trustworthy company and then get screwed over and not get paid. Thank you.
Beware of this company perk, everybody. It's called unlimited PTO. Recruiters and companies will try to sell this perk as being really, really great, but in reality, most employees don't even take up that much PTO in these kind of companies. If a company is using unlimited PTO for you to get lower salary, don't fall for it.
I spoke with her. She sort of did this apology, like, oh, sorry, da da da. And then she was like, I don't really know how to approach this. I'm going to speak with the director. I don't know if, to raise it with director. I don't know. I really don't know what to do. A few days later, she's like, you know what? Can you give me like messages? Just give me proof of what happened. Da da da. She was reporting to HR. I was like, sure, at least my manager is the one handling this. Like, guys, remember, I just started here. Now it's been barely maybe 3 months. I'm not looking for any trouble. I'm not trying to go to HR. Like, this is not what I want. So she asked me for that. Thankfully, I had a coach, like a career coach. My friend had already told me, document. This other lady told me, document. So by the time my manager asked me for that Friday morning, I was already typing. Like, I already had a few pages of the document. Once my manager asked me for, pictures, I just sent her the link to the Google Doc. I was like, here. So I think she sent it to HR. She just told me, like, I'd done my part. I wrote everything down, screenshots, everything, receipts. She told me, she's like, you know what, this so person is going to reach out to you from HR. I think the next week, the lady reached out. I spoke with her. She was like, oh, okay. You were just trying to, you get what I mean? Like, she understood. She saw that it wasn't anything malicious or whatever, that I really was doing my job and trying to help this team that had been left out. So the lady asked me, she was like, do you want to be the one to, do you want to speak with this guy after this? I was like, no, I don't. At that point, right, I'm like, I was so angry, right? In all of this, I know I've not even like expressed whatever emotional. I was so angry, and I knew that with the way I was livid, if I speak with that guy, I'll just be like, so is this the thank you? Is this the thank you? Your team has been left out for 2.5 years. Nobody cared about you guys. Like, is this the thank you? I was like, you know what? This guy is obviously going to twist my words. I don't even want to talk to this person. He's going to twist my words. There is no way he will not find something negative else to say. So when the HR lady told me, I'm just telling my reasoning. When the HR lady told me, so, do you want to, like, be the one to follow up with this guy? I was like, no, you guys handle it. So HR lady and my manager, actually the HR lady says, you know what? I'll type up something and work with your manager and we'll relate to him. I'm like, fine, no problem. I washed my hands. She even asked me, she was like, would you be comfortable working with this person? I was like, I'm a black woman. If I say no, they're going to try to tag something else on me. So I was like, his team, I think she also asked like the frequency of how often we work. I'm like, it's not that frequent, but if I'm needed to work with his team, like, sure, like, I'll work with him. So they handled the communication part. A few weeks later, I see an email that he's leaving the company. I'm like, whoa. But it's not my problem. I don't know. I frankly don't care. I really do not care. Because he was trying to ruin the short time that I had there. So I'm like, you know what? I have no idea what's going on. I didn't even, like, at this point, who will I ask? I didn't ask anybody. I didn't put myself in it. I was just like, I have no idea what's going on. A few weeks later, so remember, don't forget about my team member that brought my idea to a team meeting. So now, we're in another meeting, and a meeting that this team member leads. I think a week before, someone had like said a negative comment and somehow it blew over. Now, in this week that I'm talking about, this white girl, she like trashed him. Trashed his entire life. Like, this meeting is useless. This meeting is a waste of our time. I don't know why we're having this meeting. Like, she literally like spoke her mind, and a lot of people joined and chimed in. And right there and then, that meeting got cancelled. This is a meeting that my team member was running. It was running every week. Meeting got cancelled. And truly, the meeting was pointless. I did not understand the context or the reason for the meeting. A lot of times we'll come into the meeting and within 5 minutes he'll say something and maybe people will not respond, or there'll be no updates, whatever he's looking for from people, right? They won't provide it and the meeting will be over. So it was really useless and a waste of time. But I noted the way that lady, you know, the white girl spoke to him. I was like, if I try this as a black woman, like, we will not see the light of day. So that was just like a cheeky comment in my head. So that meeting gets cancelled. Everybody agrees that it's going to be cancelled. Guys, would you believe that the next week, this man hijacks my idea, that meeting idea that I gave him, and starts working on it. And all I hear is, oh, next week we're launching so meeting. I'm like, whoa. First of all, remember I told you he brought it up in one of our team meetings, right? That was the only time I heard of it. And I was just like in shock. And remember, I'm still new. I'm like, did this guy just steal my idea and present it like his own? I just breathed, because what I did not realize was when I told him that idea, it was doing performance reviews, perf. So he stole my idea and presented it to the manager to look good, and obviously that will go into his review somehow. I didn't know that. Anyway, so I was shocked in the team meeting, but I thought, you know, we'll flesh out the idea as a team, you know, we'll talk about it, talk through it, develop the idea as a team. No. As soon as his meeting got trashed and cancelled, the following week, like I just heard, he was going to launch the new meeting, my meeting idea, which was like a weekly portfolio review, which he had argued that time that it should be bi-weekly, whatever. So I messaged my manager. I'm like, hey, you know, this thing that's going to be launched on Monday, can I take the lead on at least introducing the idea? She's like, no, this guy worked on it. I was like, it was actually my idea. I actually suggested it to this guy. I was trying to ask him if you guys had anything similar already going on, but it was my idea. I'm the one that gave him the idea. My manager's like, no. She just kept on defending him. I kept on, you know, begging, asking, like, and guys, this is all just for visibility, right? Because tomorrow you do a review and you say something crappy and say something about visibility. So now I'm asking you to do this for my visibility. Can you see how I was being proactive? And she kept on saying no. I was like, can I just introduce? She's like, no, he worked on it. He worked on the idea, but I gave him the idea. And I told her, I was like, I thought we would discuss it as a team and figure out what this looks like. Just a few days ago, the entire team trashed and cancelled an idea that he had and developed on his own and clearly was not working with anyone. So why would you think it's a good method to go about having another meeting and he just runs and like there's no input? Again, guys, mind you, we're just 3 on this team. So why wouldn't we collaborate and work on things together and develop things together better so that it will better serve the team? He did everything on his own once again. My manager, she still didn't allow me. She didn't allow me to introduce that thing on the Monday. Guys, this was the funny part. By the way, she added him on a call. Like as I was chatting with her, she added him to the call and almost like fake mediation. The next day I was going to be off. Like I needed that day off because it was just a lot. So anyways, the Monday comes and as he's introducing the idea, he's like, oh, and by the way, we used to have something like this before. I'm like, okay, if you used to have something like this before, these engineers have been here before me. Wouldn't they know that you guys used to have something like that before? And that was a sign that my manager, because it was my manager that I told, you know, all of that to. So clearly she went back and told him, because she had also tried to tell me like, oh, there was something similar before. So she'd gone behind my back and discussed with him. So now he comes in the media and he's like, oh, by the way, guys, we used to have a meeting like this before in the past. These people have been there. They would know if there was something like that in the past. Why do you have to say that? Like, who are you talking to? Completely ignored everything. So all of that was happening. This team member as well, the quarterly planning event I told you guys about, weeks before there was like a training, right? So obviously I'm new here. That's fine. I don't know anything about what this quarterly planning event is going to involve.
If a company says we are like a family, run. in the other direction. It's manipulative. It's taking something that's transactional and making it emotional. It's promoting this expectation of devotion, and also there's just a lot of crossing of lines and boundaries and breaking of rules. I have a YouTube video where I explain the 7 red flags you should look out for in a job description, and yeah, people agree with this one. Have you ever worked at a company that's like a family? Let me know below. You've got this Wi-Fi high five.
The signs of a toxic company are always there. Here are some keywords you might want to watch out for in a job description. Always trust your gut. If it feels wrong in an interview, you might want to avoid the company.
Being that I'm the new driver's advocate, it's only right that I tell you guys about 4 signs of a scam being ran by a company recruiter. Scam number 1, sign-on bonus. It's only $2,500. Why do I have to wait an entire year to get it? It's my money and I want it now. Scam number 2, I was promised to drive this, and instead I got this. Scam number 3, empty and loaded miles should all be paid the same. Secondly, can we talk about why it's not illegal for a driver to bobtail or pull an empty trailer on the clock for free? Scam number 4, routes pitched by recruiters not given. I mean, I was supposed to be regional. How did I end up in 48 states? Save this video, share, like, and don't forget to follow for more trucking tips.
Please stay away from inventor help companies. Some of them, there are some good ones, and I'll talk about those. But for the most part, most invent help companies that you see on TV just want your money.
Having the wrong people around you is dangerous, man. People will sit in your face and smile and fake like they got love for you, but to stab you in your back at the fucking first chance they get. Bro, that is dangerous. Like, that is some of the most evil shit ever. I would appreciate it if you don't fuck with me, just tell me you don't fuck with me. You ain't gotta fake kick it around me. You do not gotta be around me and act like you got love for me or like me. Please just get the fuck the furthest away from me. I got respect for an enemy who just come out and be like, hey gang, I don't really rock with you. Like, rather than being around me and knowing how my life going, watching my every move, calculate my steps. That's why I be solo now. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I done had some of the biggest haters around me, and I didn't even know. And what be the messed up part about it, these be the people that you be rooting for the most. The people that you be praying for the most. They be praying against you the most. Spiritual warfare real, man. I ain't just having anybody around my energy this year.
I'm a victim of a marketing scam that was targeting large content creators for UGC work, and they stole thousands of dollars from me. I want to preface this video by saying that I never thought that this would be me. I'm a very smart human being. I don't fall for scams. As a seasoned content creator with larger platforms, I know what to look for, and this was so elaborate and so detailed that no one saw it coming. I was contacted through my business email by a production company that was claiming to work with a very large company that all of us know. The first thing I always check for is the email address, because all of the scams are always from Gmail addresses, and this was not. They had about 4 or 5 different email addresses with different accounts, all within the same company name. I always get brands asking for my media kit, so I did, and I sent it to them. I was then given an offer, and for a lot of people this might be a ludicrous amount of money, but it was in the scope of how much I charge for UGC content. I then received an extremely detailed contract, and although I'm not a lawyer, I sign contracts weekly, and I know what to look for, and it was legitimate looking. I had other people look it over, and it looked normal. So I signed the contract, and they said that they were going to overnight FedEx me a check. And I get paid in checks. This is quite normal. When I received the check, I then took it to the bank. They asked me to deposit it. The bank says, yep, looks good, deposited it, didn't have a hold on it. I was then instructed to go to the post office, and at the post office, I was going to load onto this prepaid account. And I was supposed to film at the post office, but the post offices would not let me film. I know looking back, this sounds really crazy, but it's very normal for us to be filming in stores. It's normal to receive checks. It's normal to be on a timeline. If you're a content creator, you know that brands literally give you days sometimes. So with the QR code, I went to the post office and I asked them if I could put my money onto this so I could get the card and then create the content with it. But I have a limit on my account, as most of us do, so I was only able to put a few $1,000s onto it, and then the next day I was to deposit the rest. And I know you're saying, Claire, like, how did you not catch this? But the money was in my account. The next day I went to go finish what I was supposed to do as per my contract, and my bank card says declined. We call up the bank and say, hey, what happened here? I'm supposed to be doing this contract. I'm going to be losing out on all this money. And they say, this check is fraud. And at that moment, I realized after I had spent thousands of dollars of my own money that I have been defrauded. And I know looking back, this sounds really obvious, but I had signed a contract, I had gotten a check, the check had gone through. They sent me shooting briefs of what I was supposed to make for the content. They had a website, they had an accounting department, they had a content creation department, they had an information department. All of the people I was talking to had extremely good English. Before I signed the contract, I made sure there was proper punctuation. I really looked into this. And because I had to prove who I was, they now have my identification. So they have already opened things up against my credit, and they opened up a Bitcoin account and took the money that I deposited, and it is gone. I can make another video to show you how detailed everything was and to show you the red flags. And money is money, money will come and money will go, but I care about my safety, and I care that now I have had to go to Equifax, I've had to go to the police, I've had to put flags on my credit for the next 6 years. And what really upsets me the most is that my page is about empowering people who have a disability, and I was taken advantage of, and it was most likely because I also have a disability. And I don't want to come on here and cry, because yes, this was me, yes, I deposited the money by myself. I am responsible for my own actions. And the worst part, I can't even claim it as fraud because I paid cash, because I willingly did it into my own account. These people are so smart, they are so detailed. I bet you it's run by someone who understands content creation, because everything was legitimate looking. Please do not accept checks. Do not give anyone your ID. I've never felt so violated and unintelligent in my entire life. I'll make a part 2 and show you the do's and the don'ts and what is a red flag and what isn't a red flag in content creation and our business. But I had multiple people look this over and they all said that it was legitimate. So please be careful. These people are vultures, and it can happen to the best of us. And as embarrassing as this is, I know that it's important to talk about because it can literally happen to anyone. Be careful. I love you.
Hi, and welcome to the job. We are so excited to have you. Here's your desk. Great, thanks so much. And here's your first project. We need you to create a production budget and then fill out a database. Oh no, I'm the new editor. Oh yeah, I know. We're just in between producers right now, so I need you to step in and help us out. It's just a simple spreadsheet in Excel. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can try to help with that. Man, I've barely been doing any editing in this job. If I have to fill out one more budget, I'm quitting. I have to talk to someone. Hey, can we talk for a minute? Sure, what's going on? So I've been here for about 30 days now, and I'm loving the team and the clients. That's great to hear, but I accepted this job under the pretense that I would be doing editing work since I'm an editor and that's what I specialize in. Oh yeah, you'll get an editing project soon. We all just kind of wear a lot of hats. So are you interviewing producers? Because I have some that I can recommend. Producers? Oh yeah, we're hiring. We're just waiting for the right one to come along. I printed out the job description, and here are the details and responsibilities for the editor role, 80% of which are editing. But so far, I've spent about 90% of my time making spreadsheets. Oh yeah, it's just a blip. You'll get back to editing soon. I'm afraid my skill set isn't being utilized here, and I'm not the best fit for this role. Yeah, I know. No one likes doing budgeting and spreadsheets. It's just something that finance says that we have to do. Well, I'd like to schedule a meeting with HR to see if we can resolve this. Would that be okay with you? Yeah, sure. You can try. Thanks.
Let's talk about some of the people in the office. We're going to call this one the work bestie. So you're new to this company, and everyone's made a big deal about this new person that's coming on board. They've passed around your resume, and they're like, she's so smart. She's worked at all these places. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to meet her. You're right. So right now, salary transparency is a big thing. So they'll huddle up and become your best friend. And oh my gosh, how much do you make for that job? What's the bonus structure? Yeah, I make X, Y, and Z, but gosh, I'm just curious what someone would get for that role. That's interesting. What exactly are the goals and responsibilities of that job? What benchmarks are they going to have you meet? Oh my gosh, that'll be so great for the company. They're pretending like they're talking to you in the interest of the company, but really they're digging deep into your business. What exactly are the parameters of that job? And they're writing it down. You get to the office, you notice this particular person is already there early. They come early and they stay late. You know why? Because they're writing down what time you come into the office. They're also writing down what time you took your breaks, how long the breaks were, how often you went to the bathroom, and they're making notes on the people that you talk to. And then this person comes over to you and says, hey, I've been here forever and I know the lay of the land. So If there's anything you need help on, just come to me first. You'll find that although they're not even qualified for your position, they're always looking over your shoulder and trying to micromanage you and saying, oh, Jim told me to tell you that he wants X, Y, and Z from you, right? Trying to act like they have a higher rank than they even have, trying to give you directions and be your boss. And then you start to notice they're often huddled with your boss and they're having these whispering conversations. And all of this seems strange, but you know what the end goal is? This person is trying to edge you out of that job. With all the information they have, they can list the job description, educational requirements, what salary would align to it, and they would probably make it a lower salary and tell the boss, we can get someone to do that person's job much cheaper than what we've hired her for. Your coworker, that bestie, is trying to replace you, or she's trying to take your job. Things like this used to happen to me earlier in my career, and I would ask people, what's going on? And they say, oh, she's just trying to be your friend. But now that I've shared the heads up with you, you know, don't share all your business at work. My name is Dr. Camille White. I'm the CEO of Inspire to Evolve. I inspire, motivate, and challenge people to navigate their careers, have less stress, and better health outcomes. Please like, follow, and share. And let me know if you've ever had someone presenting themselves as a work bestie so that they can get all the information, take your job, or even repost it. They just want you out the door.
Here's a surprising red flag that you should pay attention to if you're in a job search. You all know to look out for those salary ranges that are too low for the type of work that you'll be doing, but you should also be looking for salary ranges that are too high. You might be thinking to yourself, hey, why should I be worried about a salary that's too high? That's a great thing, right? But not so fast. Here's why you should be paying attention to this one as well. Because when companies advertise a job that has a wage range that is way too high for the rest of the market, there's a reason for it. So if you decide to pursue it, you should be absolutely asking the difficult questions of the hiring manager and making sure that you sniff out exactly what it is that's so undesirable. Because nothing in this world is for free, especially in your job search. For more recruiter tips and tricks, make sure you follow along.